Wingardium Leviosa. Hello everybody and welcome to the wizarding world of Inside Number 23. This is my podcast that is all about knitting and sewing and my crafty life in general. My name is Katie. I am coming to you from Hertfordshire, which is just north of London in the UK. And thank you for coming to spend a little bit of crafty time with me today. You can find me on both Instagram and Ravelry as Miss Lavelli, and also on Periscope, which I'm using more and more regularly now, as misskatietweets, which is also my Twitter name. So I'd like to start off by saying a huge welcome back to any of my long-term subscribers, people who check in every week, and also a really big welcome to anyone who is checking me out for the first time. I want to start with a little disclaimer. This episode is going to be a little bit unusual. This is not going to be my typical episode. Basically, this week is all about Harry Potter. It is Wizarding Week here at Inside Number 23. The reason behind that is I have been running my first ever KAL, and that has just finished. That was the Harry Potter knit along for Inside Number 23, and it was incredible. Thank you so much to everybody who completed projects, who posted in the chatter thread and the finished object thread. It's been amazing. It does feel like it's been going on for quite a long time now, so for it to finish feels very odd. But I'm just so happy to have done it. It's been amazing. So many of you have enjoyed it. So yay, Harry Potter. Basically, in celebration of the end of that KAL and a love of all things Harry Potter, I decided that it was only right for this week's episode to be even more heavily influenced by Harry Potter than my usual podcasts are. And if you are a regular viewer, you will know that I do have an obsession with Harry Potter and it tends to creep in at the edges in most things that I do. But this week, it's Wizarding Week. If you're not a Harry Potter fan, I apologise. There's still a lot of content in here that is not necessarily Harry Potter themed, but the main structure of the podcast is definitely going to have a Harry Potter flair this week. For those of you who enjoy Harry Potter, you're welcome. A little bit of admin before we start off. In addition to thanking everybody who's taken part in the KAL, so again, thank you guys so much. I would like to thank everybody who has kind of commented and got back to me on Ravelry or Instagram, or actually on my videos recently about two recent segments that I included. That is my cross-stitching embroidery segment, and also last week I talked about books. And the kind of reaction that you guys were giving me from those segments was just fantastic. So I'd like to say I will definitely be including a cross-stitch embroidery segment and a bookworm kind of segment in upcoming episodes. They're not necessarily going to be regular segments that I do every single week, but they will be reoccurring, and I can't wait to kind of talk about those things with you. Big thumbs up. So today is Monday, May the 2nd. I do usually podcast on a Sunday, but I was super busy yesterday because it was one of my best friend's birthdays, and so I decided to kind of push things back a little bit and make sure that I had time to give to this, what I considered to be an extra special episode. But I did lock the finished object thread for the Harry Potter KAL yesterday morning, and I have drawn prizes. I'm so excited. I've been hanging on to these prizes for such a long time, and it's so lovely to finally be able to give these to you guys. So I am going to hand you over to a different Katie at a different time with a lovely little fluffy assistant who's going to be announcing who has won the prizes for the Harry Potter KAL, both for the chatter thread and the finished object thread. I am doing this right at the start because I want to make sure that you're not, holding your breath for the entire episode. So let me hand over now with a little wave of my wand, and let's go and see other Katie and Roly the pug. Roly. We have a very important job to do. We have to pick prizes for the Harry Potter KAL. But are you going to be a good boy and help? Or are you going to eat me? Or are you going to go to sleep? So we have an amazing selection of prizes to give away for the Harry Potter KAL. I'm so excited! We're going to start off with the chatter thread prizes. We have an incredible 2011 posts in the chatter thread. which is just insane. So first up, we're going to be drawing prizes from that chatter thread from those 2011 posts. And the prizes that we're going to be giving away for the chatter thread are, first up, we have a pattern to the value of $10, which was donated by Maureen of the Victorian Studio podcast. So thank you, Maureen. We also have a pattern up to the value of $10, which was donated by Dee, who is Bitter Gnome. So thank you so much to both of you, and I'm now going to be drawing the prize winners. So we're going on to random number generator, and I'm going to ask for a number between 1 and 2011. The first winner is post number 1760, and that was posted by June, who is Rudy Patootie on Ravelry. So June, thank you so much. Please get in touch with me and I will put you in touch with Dee, who is going to be donating a Ravelry pattern to you. Yay! So we're going to ask random number generator again. This time it's post 1553, and that post was posted by Miss Katie Ann /X, who is Katie. So Katie, hello Katie from a fellow Katie, please get in touch with me, and Maureen is going to be donating a pattern to you up to the value of $10, so congratulations! So the next set of prizes that are going for the chatter thread were kindly donated by the lovely Sarah Stevens, who is one of the O Loops girls, and she has donated some bundles of her beautiful Harry Potter inspired patterns. The names of the patterns that she is donating to us are Restricted Section number 14287, Stupefy, Haunt of Owls, and Devil's Snare, and she was also kind enough to give me a copy of all of these patterns as well, so thank you, Sarah. Sarah has generously donated 5 copies of each of these patterns, which I am packaging together into little bundles for 5 lucky people. So let me just generate some numbers and we'll see who's won. The first winner is post 165, which is Kimberly 3706. Congratulations, Kimberly. The next winner is post number 457, who is Lucci Lucy. Congratulations, Lucy. The next number drawn by the random number generator is post number 2000, and that was posted by Weeping Wool, who is Sue. So congratulations, Sue. The next winner is post 1819, who is L Lynn, and that's Celine. So yay, Celine, you won some patterns. And the last lucky winner from our chatter thread is post number 528, and that was Sarah 12. So thank you so much, Sarah. Congratulations. Yay! Can you tell he's excited? Next up, we are going to be drawing prizes from the finished object thread, and I am so excited about some of these prizes. We're going to be starting off with the beautiful sock duo, which was donated by lovely Steph from London House Yarns. So we had an incredible 645 posts in the finished object thread, which I think is amazing. So thank you all so much for being a part of the KAL. And let's get on the old random number generator and see who's won. So Roly has decided he's a little bit too tired to sit on my lap for a bit, but he will be back for the end of the prize drawing. So the winner of the London House Yarns is post 497, and that is Crystal F, who is Crystal. So congratulations, Crystal. Please get in touch with me and send me your contact information, and we will make sure that that sock duo wings its way to you. So the next prize that we are drawing for is the gorgeous little Progress Keeper and Stitch Marker set that was created by Hand Drawn Yarns. And the winner of that is post number 621, and that was posted by BB Mouse, who is Barbara from Germany. So Barbara, congratulations. Please get in touch and send me your contact information. The next prize that I'm drawing for was kindly donated by Diane of Peggy May Yarns, and it's a set of her beautiful Progress Keepers. The winner of that is post number 237. That was Brown Curls, who is Liesel. So congratulations. patterns, please send me your contact information and I will make sure that those start heading their way towards you. Next up, we have the 2 bumper prize packages to give away, and I am so excited about these. First of all is bumper prize package number 2. This includes a bag from Thimble and Thread Make, some yarn from Wolf and Schaefer, some more yarn from Molly of Homespun House, the pattern book Charmed Knits, and a set of the Peggy May yarn Progress Keepers. And the winner of that prize is post number 414, which is Oliver Twists UK, and that is Sarah Oliver. So congratulations, Sarah. Please send me your contact information and I will make sure that this bumper prize package is on its way to you as soon as possible. And last but not least, the final bumper prize package which I'm giving away, which includes the lovely freckled whimsy bag from Carrie, the Mermaid of the Black Lagoon yarn from Molly of a Homespun House, some beautiful Woolly Wonka fibres in the brocade colourway, the Knitting Wizardry knitting book, and also some Peggy May yarn Progress Keepers. So let's see what number the random number generator gives us. Trying to find the right post. Scrolling through these posts takes a long time. The winner is post 108, which was posted by Nicola C99, who is Nicola. So congratulations, Nicola! Yay! You've won bumper prize package number 1. I am so happy for you. Please get in touch and give me your details, and yeah, I will make sure that that finds its way to you as soon as possible. Yay! I want to say a huge congratulations to everybody who has won a prize. Thank you so much to everybody who got involved with the Harry Potter knit along. It has been an incredible experience and I have loved every single second of it. Say bye-bye, Roly. Bye-bye. We're sending you back to Other Katie now in a magical whoosh. Oh, congratulations to everybody who has won prizes. I will do my very best to get these off to you as soon as possible. So please get in touch with me. Drop me a personal message on Instagram, send me a message on Ravelry, and let me know your contact information so I can get these prizes to you as soon as possible. And obviously, same for anyone who has a pattern, get in touch with me and I will pass your information on to the people who will be sending you those patterns. Basically, just get in touch, give me all your info and we'll go from there. But let's get on with some knitting, shall we? So as I said, this week's podcast is incredibly heavily Harry Potter influenced. And that means that the names of my segments may have changed slightly. So to start off with, let's see what's on my wand. AKA what's on my needles. Let's talk about some finished objects because I'm very excited to be able to tell you, in case you haven't noticed, I am wearing one of them. Yeah, it needed a dance, let's be honest. This is my Weasley sweater. Let me just put down my wand. I finally finished it, you guys. I finally finished my Weasley sweater. I am so happy with this. In case you haven't seen this project before, if this is your first time checking out the podcast, this is the Weasley sweater. It's a pattern by Alison Hansel. It is a free pattern that's available on Ravelry. I would just like to say this is probably the easiest sweater that I have ever made. And I've made quite a few in my time. In terms of a pattern, it is really great. It's very easy to adapt. It's got a huge amount of different sizes. So it goes from tiny child all the way up to giant adult, which is always fantastic. It means you can have a whole family's worth of these sweaters if you want to. And it just looks perfect. I really wanted to create something that was very reminiscent of the sweaters that are worn in the movie. If you don't know, this was my first ever Netflix and Knit project, which is where I look at a film and try and recreate something from it. And I'm just so happy with it. So if I just kind of show you, It's a nice loose fit. The sleeves, the way that they're fitted in, they are literally knitted straight out of the body of the sweater. So there's no kind of armhole shaping or anything like that. The front and the back are literally two big rectangles that you knit separately and you sew together. You then pick up the stitches in the armholes and knit the sleeves straight down with decreases as you go, and then a ribbed cuff on the end. In terms of the letter, with the pattern, you were provided with a chart for an H for Harry, and I adapted that into a K for Katie, obviously. So the charts do not come with the pattern, it's just an H, but again, it's incredibly easy to be able to change that around for your own initial. In terms of the neckline as well, it's literally just picked up and knitted in the round. I have not woven in ends on this jumper. I have not blocked it. I did block the front and the back before I picked up for the sleeves and before I knitted the neckline. So this feels so soft and lovely and fluid, and in comparison the sleeves are quite stiff, which is interesting when you're wearing it. I just had to share it with you. If you have been following me on Periscope, you'll know that when I periscoped yesterday I was talking about the fact that I really wanted to get this finished. Yesterday, it was entirely complete apart from one sleeve. I didn't have the second sleeve on this jumper. And I started that in the afternoon. I knitted it throughout the evening. I went to my parents' house. We watched some TV. I'm knitting away on this sleeve. I got maybe about a third of the sleeve done. I got home, got into bed, was waiting for Emrys to get home, knitting on the sleeve, knitting on the sleeve. I maybe got about just shy of half of the sleeve done. And then this morning, I woke up super early. I knit the rest of the sleeve whilst binge watching quite a few podcasts that popped up this morning. So thank you to Sue and Chelsea, and thank you to Shannon, because I watched all of your podcasts and it helped me power on through knitting this sleeve. I finally cast off the sleeve about half an hour before I started podcasting this morning. I sewed up the massive seams which go from the tip of the sleeve all the way down to the bottom of the jumper, put this jumper on, and here I am with you, and it's finished, and I'm so pleased because I just wanted to have my Harry Potter Weasley jumper finished for this Harry Potter episode, and I'm in love with it. I feel that it's going to improve with blocking. I feel, like I was saying, the difference between the fabric of the front of this sweater and the sleeves is quite substantial. So it's an Aran weight yarn. It's by Rowan. It's felted tweed. There we go. And it is 50% wool, 25% alpaca, and 25% viscose. It has this beautiful tweedy look to it, which I just love. You can see all of the kind of colourful neps in it. It has blues and yellows and whites. And I just know I am going to live in this jumper. When I am not kind of dressed up and all ready to go, I like to wear this kind of thing around the house, something nice and cozy. And I know I'm going to get so much wear out of this already. I don't want to take it off, and it's actually relatively warm outside today and I still don't want to take this jumper off, so I'm super, super happy with it. This initial can be worked in duplicate stitch or intarsia, and I decided to use intarsia because I feel that it gives a much nicer finish. It's very, very smooth. It looks slightly more professional, I feel, and it helped me get over my fear of intarsia, which was pretty awesome, if you ask me. Can you tell that I'm absolutely in love with this sweater? Because I really, really am. This makes me so happy. Yay! Anyway, enough time talking about the Weasley jumper. However much I love it, I do have lots of other things to show you, so let's get on with those. Next up is a really, really gorgeous project that I have shared with you previously, and that is my Lily and Severus Shawl, also known as the Budding Bluebells Shawl, by lovely, lovely Mina Philipp, who of course is the host of the lovely podcast, the Knitting Expat, and I've completed it, and I'm so happy. So again, I haven't woven in the ends. This is just done blocking. So I took it off the spare bed this morning where it was blocking. And it's pretty ginormous. Isn't it gorgeous? So the two yarns that I used are this main body is by Molly of Homespun House yarn. It was the second instalment of her Harry Potter yarn club, which is called After All This Time. Absolutely beautiful. It's on her cashmere base, so it's as soft can be. It's absolutely beautiful. The colours, these lilacs, navy blues, browns, and a lot of kind of natural showing through there as well. And I used for the edging, to show you here, the edging is a Rowan fine art yarn. I'm not entirely sure of the colourway because they just use numbers, not names, which is highly annoying. But it's still, I believe, 400 yards per 100 grams, but it is a 2-ply yarn and it's a lot lighter weight. So it's almost kind of a lace weight yarn. And I think I was a little concerned that the combination of these yarns together may not work. But I'm so happy with the drape of it and how it looks. And it's huge. So I'm going to put it on to show you how it looks. And there we go. Isn't it cute? Wouldn't necessarily wear it with this jumper, obviously, but I really, really like it. Now that it's finished and it's blocked and I'm actually wearing it, I also feel that this colour, I like how this colour looks on me. And I really like that I have the really soft, beautiful cashmere close to my neck and then this delicate edging further down because it gives it this really pretty drape when you wear it. It looks super, super delicate and lovely. And yeah, I am really happy with it. I was almost considering giving it as a gift, but now that it's all blocked and finished, I think I'm gonna keep it. I think it's gotta be mine forever. But I am a selfish knitter and I don't like giving away things that I've knitted, so you know. But a couple more details about the pattern. This was a test knit, but the pattern is now available on Ravelry. So if you're seeing this and thinking, oh my gosh, that looks so amazing, then go and get the pattern. I did find the whole process, particularly towards the end, a little bit stressful, but that is mostly because I put a lot of pressure on myself anyway, but when I'm doing something for somebody else, so Mina specifically asked me to test knit this pattern for her, I put so much pressure on myself because I feel really responsible for doing a good job for Mina, and I've said this a lot of times, I have so much respect for Mina as a designer. She's incredible as a podcaster. She's amazing. She's one of the people that inspired me to kind of get starting with podcasting. And I just really wanted to do a good job for her. So I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. And yeah, as always, I would thoroughly recommend any of her patterns, but obviously particularly appropriate as it is Harry Potter yarn, Harry Potter named project, so fits very, very well into our wizarding week, don't you think? So how about that? 2 finished objects. I feel pretty chuffed about that, to be honest. So I just have one more project to share with you this week, and the final work in progress is obviously being stored in my Homespun House tote bag, made by lovely Molly. And the project that I'm keeping in this bag is, of course, my Cozy Memories blanket, which I'm still head over heels in love with. It's just the most amazing project to work on. I started working on this again, as I said last week, because my BFF Shannon of the Socksetra podcast is currently running a KAL, the Blanket Blitz KAL, which basically means get out your sock blanket and knit your minis into it, or use your mini skeins to make other things like mini socks or mini jumpers or whatever. For me, it's a Cozy Memories blanket, and last week I had showed you that I'd completed 2 full rows of the blanket, so that's 24 squares. The first line of which was all Homespun House yarn, and the second line was a combination of kind of minis that had been gifted to me from other people, and also a big selection of fondant fibre yarn that I had purchased. Now, in keeping with Harry Potter week, with Wizarding Week on the podcast, my next row is entirely Harry Potter themed. I purchased from the incredible Nora George, who is Tracy Arnold, a huge selection of her mini skeins that were all named after Harry Potter characters, and I have been knitting a lot of those into this row of the blanket. So in terms of the Nora George yarns that I have, this is Hedwig, This is Harry. This is Ron. This one, which is coming up kind of black, but which is actually more purpley, is Hermione. It is more purple than black, it's just the lighting's terrible. This lovely kind of stripy grey one is Dumbledore. And then the one on the end here, which is most definitely black and kind of very dark greens, is Voldemort. It's a lot more interesting in real life than it's coming up on camera, but take my word for it. And the other one that I've also knitted into this row is my beautiful self-striping yarn from London House Yarns, and it is of course the Four Founders colourway. I would have knit considerably more on this blanket, to be honest, if it wasn't for wanting to finish up the jumper and wanting to finish up my shawl. But I decided to sacrifice my blanket knitting time in order to get 2 projects off the needles, which I am very happy to do, but as so many people have been saying on the podcasts recently, this is just the nicest project to work on. I love it so much. I would thoroughly recommend checking out Nora George. Every colourway that she's ever done, particularly her Harry Potter yarns, because I'm biased, are absolutely beautiful. I'm really, really tempted to get a full skein of her Fred and George colourway, which is just amazing. Out of this world amazing. Check out her Etsy shop, and I believe she actually has a website as well, but find her on Instagram, check out her stuff, because she's amazing. So yeah, that's everything that I've been working on knitting wise this week, and to be honest, I feel like that is a lot. I feel like I've got a lot done. I am super proud. Obviously I may have had some magical assistance this week, at least that's what it feels like, but moving on to our next segment. Next up, I would like to talk to you about Owl Post. The owls have been very, very busy this week. I have been very lucky and received some lovely parcels and some kind of digital owl post as well, which I am very, very grateful for, and I would like to say a big thank you and also share with you some of the lovely bits and pieces that I've received this week. So first of all, I've been lucky enough to receive 2 gifted patterns on Ravelry this week, for which I am so, so grateful. Shaylin, who is Alberta born on Ravelry, was kind enough to send me the most adorable mitten pattern that I have ever seen. It is called Cutie Pugs, which is really funny because Roly, when I'm talking to him, I often call him my cutie pug, or my cutie baby and that kind of thing, because I'm disgusting. But it's absolutely adorable and it's so funny, and I really, really can't wait to give it a try. Thank you so, so much, and it was so appreciated that you thought of me and my pug obsession. Next up, I got a lovely pattern from Corinne, who is, and I want to look at this so that I hopefully pronounce it properly, Corinne Kamrashsuki on Ravelry. And she sent me a pattern that she's actually recently designed herself. It's a sock pattern. It's called I Open at the Close. And obviously, if you get the quote, it's Harry Potter themed. And she wrote me a lovely note saying that kind of seeing the Harry Potter KAL and taking part really inspired her to complete this sock pattern. So thank you so much, Corinne, for sending me a copy. Please do check her out. Check out the pattern. It looks really, really great. And yeah, congratulations on your first sock knitting pattern. That's amazing. In terms of physical owl post, I was absolutely 100% spoiled this week by an incredibly lovely and generous viewer of this podcast, who is Cheryl. So first of all, Cheryl, thank you. You are amazing and thoughtful and so kind, and I really, really can't thank you enough for what you sent me this week. Cheryl got in touch with me and basically said she wanted to send me a little parcel to show kind of her appreciation for the podcast, and also because she knew how much I love Harry Potter, she wanted to send me something to reflect that. And I'd kind of forgotten that I'd even kind of been in contact with Cheryl, to be honest, until this box appeared. And I was expecting maybe something quite small, you know, just something small and lovely. This box was about this big. I was absolutely overwhelmed at the size of this box. First and foremost, I was just like, this is amazing, and completely overwhelming. And if you have watched the podcast for a while, you'll know when I get overwhelmed, which does happen quite a lot, particularly with the generosity of the knitting community, which is just incredible, I do tend to cry. And the second I opened this parcel, I cried. Cheryl, you're just too much and too lovely, and completely overwhelmed. I'm not going to kind of go through everything that she sent me because a lot of it I feel was really personal, and I want to kind of keep it as my own special thing. She did send me some sweets. She sent me some tea, which I so appreciated. Absolutely lovely. But everything was kind of individually wrapped with lovely labels with like little Harry Potter quotes and descriptions. Each little parcel I had a progress keeper attached to it. So for example, the sweets had this little guy, if you can see him. It's a gummy bear, which incidentally I used when I was knitting this jumper with the second sleeve, which I knitted in like no time at all. And having this little guy on there made things go so much faster. So thank you, Cheryl, for helping me out with my jumper with this little friend. She sent me the sweetest card. She also made me a little owl friend. Hi! Isn't he adorable? Obviously his name is Pigwidgeon. I have named him, and he shall be living in my sewing room with my other collection of little animals and creatures that I keep in there for friends. And Pigwidgeon will be joining them now, and I think he's so cute. She made me some other little bits and pieces that are all really beautiful, and like I said, everything has been wrapped so thoughtfully. On top of all of that, as if that wasn't enough, she also, and this, she sent me some yarn. And when I saw what it was, I cried even more because she sent me some gnome acres, and not just any gnome acres. This colourway is Bertie Bott's. So it's one of Gnome Acres' Harry Potter inspired yarns. It's on the sparkle base, so it has gold stellina in it. If you can see that sparkle. Oh, look. And it's inspired by the Bertie Bott's Every Flavour beans. So it's all these different colours all mixed up together. And it's beautiful. I've been wanting to try Gnome Acres for such a long time. And to get this totally out of the blue and unexpected, and it's so beautiful and so special. It's taken every fibre of my self-control to not cake this up and cast something on right away because I'm just so in love with it, but I wanted to keep it in its beautiful skein to share with all of you guys. But it's so beautiful. I love it so much, and it's so soft and squishy and amazing, and I just completely blown away. So yeah, Cheryl, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled that you've enjoyed kind of the Harry Potter KAL just as much as I have. Thank you for your support of the podcast. Thank you for this. And I shed many a joyful tear over your beautiful parcel, so thank you. I love Owlpost. Moving on to our next segment. Another Harry Potter themed name for you now, because guys, it's time for Ex-sew-iarmus! Okay, so I must admit that when it came to So What, I really couldn't think of a good name for the title, so Ex-sew-iarmus we have. So I have been able to do quite a bit of sewing this week, and the one project that I've been giving a lot of time to is my Carol dress, which is a Netflix and Sew project. So just to refresh your memory, I am recreating a lovely dress from Carol. It is a black kind of jumper dress. It's really beautiful, and the way that I'm doing it is I am basically adapting a vintage pattern that I had in my stash to work and look like the one that's in the film. So last time I spoke to you, I had kind of cut out my pattern pieces. I'd started basic construction, and right now what I have is an almost completed bodice, which is here. So it doesn't look particularly interesting, I must admit, because obviously it's black fabric with lots of pins in it. But the interesting thing about this project is that because I've been using a vintage pattern it's a one size only pattern, it's not for my size. I've had to do quite a lot of kind of sizing up and down, adjusting dart placement and size and that type of thing. So when I show you this as it is now, which is basically, if I take it back, there we go, the bodice kind of all sewn together, I have kind of deconstructed this bodice about 4 different times in order to get exactly the right fit that I want. Now that I've done that, I'm starting the finish, which, because this fabric is quite thick and heavy, it's a twill fabric, I'm using bias tape around the edges. If you can see where the pins are, it's difficult to see because I'm using black bias tape on a black fabric, but I'm using bias tape around the edges in order to give it a lovely clean finish and not have to have bulky layers of facing with an already bulky fabric. But this is kind of how far along I am. I do have the skirt panels cut and I'm going to be gathering them up and attaching them around the waist. Once that's done, it's probably just a matter of finishing, and this will be complete. So fingers crossed if all goes well and the fitting works, because sometimes even if you fit 100 times you can try something on and for some reason it still doesn't fit. It should be finished by next week, which was super exciting. Yeah, one thing I wanted to say about this project, a lot of people ask me in the Ravelry group and on Instagram about how I find time for my projects and what my process is when it comes to making clothes, in particular with sewing. And I'm putting together a little, it's almost a video diary, I guess, of sewing in real life and how I fit in making a project like this around having a full-time job and podcasting and all of the other things that I do. And so I hope that will be of interest to you. That should be up within the next week or so, depending on when I get this finished, because it is kind of a start to finish type of video diary that I'm doing. But yeah, hopefully that will be of interest to you, and it will be up very, very soon. And I am really enjoying sewing recently and creating a whole wardrobe of outfits. It's making my knitting a lot more productive because I'm thinking about things as a whole, you know, how my knitwear works with my sewn dresses and skirts and tops that I'm making, and that all around assessment of what I'm making and making sure that I'm making things that are functional is just really satisfying. Where's my wand? Ex-sew wand. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. So I have 2 more segments left of this podcast. And first up is what's on my witch list. I know, you don't get much more clever than that in terms of renaming one of your segments, do you? And I must admit, full credit for what's on my witch list goes to my husband Emrys, so thanks for that, baby. Love you. So in case you were wondering, this segment is where I talk about things that I really, 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 really want at the moment in the fibre world, the stitching world, the sewing world. And I have 2 things that are on my wish list this week, both of which, funnily enough, are Harry Potter themed. What? First up, you may have seen on pretty much every podcast recently that there is a stitching revolution going on, and I have been utterly obsessed this week with looking at cross-stitch patterns online. I really, really want to get into cross-stitch. I've been thinking about maybe even starting a cross-stitch wall in the house with lots of small cross-stitch projects, hanging them all up on a wall, and I just think it will look incredible, but I always try and bite off more than I can chew. So right now, I'm just looking at patterns that kind of make me happy. And one particular place that I am absolutely loving is a company called Clouds Factory, and they are very well known in terms of doing amazing cross-stitch patterns which are all to do with pop culture. But there are 3 different patterns in particular that really stood out to me, and I will definitely be making one, if not all 3 of these patterns. The first one that really, really appealed to me is the Harry Potter house banners cross-stitch. And it's adorable because it's all 4 of the houses, and I just think it's so pretty. But it's also quite subtle, because unless you know Harry Potter, you're not necessarily going to know that that is a direct reference to it. So that's a definite one on the witch list. The next one that really made me happy was one called the Marauder's Map. The Marauder's Map is given to Harry by Fred and George Weasley, and it's a map that basically shows you all of the hidden passageways and everything in Hogwarts, and it shows you where everybody is with little footprints walking around. It's very clever, and it's also hidden. It looks like blank parchment until you tap it and say, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good," and then it opens up. So it's very good in terms of sneaking around Hogwarts and that type of thing. So very cool. And obviously the cross-stitch pattern is very reflective of that. You have Harry, you have Fred and George, you have these little footprints around, and then you also have the lovely quote, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good." And I love this cross-stitch pattern. I just think it's fantastic. So yeah, love that one. The last one, which to be honest I didn't spot right away, and now that I've seen it, I really like it, and it's called Luna Lovegood's Outfits, and it is exactly what it says on the tin. It is one of my favourite characters from the book series, which is Luna Lovegood, who tends to wear kind of ridiculous over-the-top outfits, which I can totally relate to, and it's 4 versions of Luna wearing different outfits, and it's absolutely adorable. I really like this cross stitch, and I think, to be honest, out of all of them, it's probably, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Luna, because I love her. She's kind of my spirit animal. So yeah, those are the 3 that are on my personal wish list, but I would really recommend that you go and check out Cloud's Factory yourself, because I can guarantee if you are into kind of pop culture in any way, you will find something that appeals to you on that site, and then we can all cross-stitch together, which is awesome. So yay! The next item that is on my wish list was actually recommended to me while I was periscoping. So you see, you guys, this is another reason why you should totally come and check out my periscoping channel, because you never know, you may get talked about on the podcast, because I love having stuff recommended to me, so yay! The lovely lady who was speaking to me on Periscope is actually the designer of the pattern that I'm going to be recommending to you this week, and that is Anna Hersey. And I hope that's how you pronounce your surname, Anna. I'm so sorry. I am notoriously bad at pronouncing names, but Anna has recently released the most gorgeous knitting pattern. It is called the Harry Potter House Socks pattern, and it basically has a striped pattern of each of the Harry Potter houses with the letter that it starts off with. So we have an R for Ravenclaw, G for Gryffindor, S for Slytherin, H for Hufflepuff, with the coordinating colours of that particular house, all knitted into one beautiful sock pattern, and I think they are fantastic. I absolutely love them, and Anna, thank you so much for kind of bringing them to my attention, because I just think that they're fabulous, and I think you've done such a lovely job with the pattern. In addition to that, Anna let me know that Savvy Skeins has actually created some kits to go along with her pattern, which provide you with every kind of yarn that you need in order to make these fantastic socks, and they look brilliant. So basically, you can buy the pattern, you can get the kit, and you have everything that you need to make these incredible socks, and I think that's just fantastic. So I'm going to be finishing up this week's podcast, you guys, with something a little bit different, and I'm going to be naming this segment Veritaserum. Now, for you people who are regular viewers of my podcast, you'll know that I've started doing a segment called General Waffle, at the end of my podcast. And it's usually where I waffle on about something that's kind of not specific to the fibre world and that type of thing. And the reason that I renamed this segment for Harry Potter Week Veritaserum is that I'm going to tell a couple of truths for you. So in case you don't know, Veritaserum is this potion that you can get given, and it just makes you tell the truth about everything. So even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, you're in the know now. This is something I've been wanting to share for a little bit. A lot of people on Instagram recently were tagging these kind of 10 facts about you as a person, and I really enjoyed reading these facts about other people, but I didn't get asked to do it myself, so I thought I would do it on a podcast. So what I have for you in my Veritaserum section this week, it's 10 sort of interesting facts or likes and dislikes about me that I thought you would find interesting, because I always like hearing more about the people that I watch on podcasts. So here we go. 10 little Veritaserum points for your viewing pleasure. Number 1, if I had to be an animagus, the animal that I would pick would most likely be a hedgehog. I feel an affinity with the hedgehog. I feel that the hedgehog and I have a lot in common. And yeah, I just imagined that if I had to be an animagus, I would be a hedgehog. Number 2, so when it comes to defining your personality, I think I would define myself as an introverted extrovert, which I know sounds a bit like an oxymoron, but let me explain. When I don't know people very well and I'm in a new situation, somewhere I haven't necessarily been before, I become incredibly introverted. I get very shy. I don't know what to say in front of people. I get very awkward. And a lot of the time I will just kind of clam up and not talk because I have this fear that people will just not understand me or will not accept me with all of my quirks and that type of thing. So in new situations, I do tend to be incredibly introverted. And I also really, really need decompression time. I can't be around very big groups of people, particularly people that I don't know that well, for long periods of time. I need time, solitary time, to be by myself, to decompress and get my mind back into a place where I feel that everything's clearer. However, when people do get to know me a little bit better and I feel confident around people, I do want to be loud and be funny and be over the top and that type of thing, but that's something that does come after quite a lot of time with getting to know people and feeling that people accept me more. Which is why this podcast is quite interesting, because I think I do come across as someone who's a little bit more extroverted from the way that I behave on here. But like a lot of podcasters, I think if you met me in real life, I'd be a lot more socially inept and quiet and awkward and embarrassed. So yeah, I kind of feel that I am an introverted extrovert. Number 3. So I love tattoos. I absolutely love tattoo art. I have done for a very, very, very long time, and I am a tattoo collector myself. I currently have 3 tattoos. They are all on my legs, so that's why you probably haven't seen them on here. They are all based on members of my family or kind of experiences that I've had with loved ones, and I love all of them. And to be honest, I have about 5 other tattoos that are currently being planned in my brain. I'm not saying that I'm going to get all of them, but if I could, I probably would. At least 5 are in the works. 1 for Roly, 1 kind of Harry Potter themed, 1 knitting themed, just to name a few. I'm a bit of a tattoo addict, to be honest. If a certain amount of time goes by and I haven't got a tattoo, I start getting itchy to get a new one, and I love them. I think they're beautiful. Number 4, my favourite food, probably in the whole world, is pie. And I know that when I say this to perhaps a more American audience, you automatically assume sweet pie. So things like banana cream pie and that type of thing. And yes, I do enjoy sweet pie. My real love of pie is with savoury pie. So it's your kind of your steak and ale pie and your chicken and mushroom pie and that type of thing. I love pastry and pie, and it makes me happy. I do love sweet pie as well, in particular pumpkin pie. Oh, pumpkin pie. Because I love pumpkin. Pie is definitely my favourite. Gotta love pie! Of all of the Harry Potter novels, my favourite would have to be The Half-Blood Prince. When I read The Half-Blood Prince, I cried for about a week, on and off, because of what happens in that book. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, because some of you may not have read it and may want to read it, or may not have seen the film or whatever, but it is my favourite by far. Closely followed by The Prisoner of Azkaban. Number 6. I never used to wear makeup. Up until the age of about 21, I did not wear a lot of makeup. And since then, I started wearing more makeup, particularly with the jobs that I was doing in theatre. And now I've really got to a point where I don't necessarily feel 100% myself and confident in who I am unless I'm wearing makeup. I do have a huge amount of respect for women who feel beautiful and confident with little to no makeup, because to be perfectly honest, it's just not something that I feel confident. I like putting on my war paint, I like putting on my armour, and I feel that I'm better able to face the world when I have some makeup on my face. Number 7. So funny thing about me, my first ever crush as a child was, you know, when you kind of like a film star or a pop star or whatever, you know, when you're a little bit younger. My first ever crush was on Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas, who's a stop motion character. Make of that what you will. Number 8. So my favourite musical of all time is Phantom of the Opera. And I would be the first person to say it's not necessarily the best musical technically and structurally, and there are better musicals that do more in terms of the advancement of the art and in terms of the artistic way that they're put together. I just love Phantom of the Opera. It makes me cry, and I've seen it 5 times and I love it. I think it's amazing. Phantom of the Opera is just brilliant. It's just, to be honest, I think it appeals to my kind of love of gothic horror, my love of B-movie style, and the fact that it's so high romance. It's fabulous. Closely followed, I would think, by more cult musicals like Bat Boy or Little Shop of Horrors, because that's really where my heart lies when it comes to musicals. Number 9. I don't really have many fears now. The main fear that I have is a fear of heights. I've never really been able to kick that fear of heights. It doesn't stop me from going high up. I just do not enjoy it one bit, and I do feel quite unwell when I'm up high. In terms of fears that I had in the past, I did used to have a really, really big fear of cucumbers. I don't have that anymore. And lastly, number 10. So I absolutely love film. Watching films is probably one of my favourite things to do when I'm crafting. And I would say my favourite film of all time at the moment, because this does change a lot, is most probably About Time. And that's just because it has a very special place in my heart. Emrys really enjoys it as well. And we saw that film at a point in our relationship where we were really starting to properly commit to each other. And so to watch that film together and both enjoy it and see what our life could possibly be like in the future by watching it, it made us both very, very happy. And about a week after that, he proposed to me. So, you know, it's a big favourite of mine. So yeah, guys, that is it for Wizarding Week at Inside number 23. I hope you have enjoyed this heavily Harry Potter influenced episode. And also, if you're not a big Harry Potter fan, I hope that there's still been enough in here to keep you entertained. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, please subscribe to the channel, and then you'll be notified as soon as another of my videos pops up. As always, thank you so much for spending a bit of time with me. There are so many amazing knitting podcasts out there now, and the fact that you guys would like to spend a little bit of your time with me just means everything. I do upload on a weekly basis, so I will see you next week with more yarny, crafty goodness. But for now, I love you all so much. Happy sewing, happy knitting, and I'll be back soon. Bye!
Snape, Snape, Severus Snape.
You're a wizard, Harry.
You've got dirt on your nose, by the way. Did you know? It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. I'm not an owl!
Dobby has no master. Dobby is a free elf.
even in the darkest of times.